The Stack Monitoring Enterprise Summary provides that 10,000-foot view of all of your monitored resources, whether running in OCI, on-premise, or another cloud provider. Let's begin by identifying the number of resources that are down or not reporting across all of your monitored resources. For example, here we can see that we have 9 resources that are down and 8 resources that are not reporting. Next, using the status by resource type, we can identify where resource outages are occurring. For example, EBS, where PeopleSoft does not have any resources that are down. To get additional information, we can click down to view just the resources that are down by resource type. Here we can easily view a count of application servers that are down, or how many components of an application such as EBS. Clicking any of the bars will invoke a slide out to display the resource name, status, and type, and a link to the home page to further triage. Clicking Show All will remove the filter. Stack Monitoring summarizes the open alarms across all of your monitored resources. Clicking the count of, say, critical alarms will show additional alarm details, including the alarm name, trigger time, resource name, metric dimension, and even the current value. DevOps teams can use this information to quickly identify the severity of the alarm and help prioritize their work. For example, here we can see that the J.D. Edwards root file system is 97.53% utilized. The Enterprise Summary provides access to key performance indicators across each of the application tiers, such as the application layer, app servers, databases, and hosts. The Enterprise Summary uses scatter plot charts to help correlate any two metrics, while also providing a heat map. Each plot point represents a unique resource. Here we can see that while the memory is heavily utilized, the majority of the hosts are not consuming swap. However, one host in particular is consuming almost 100% of memory and swap. While scatter plots are great at comparing any two metrics, they don't show that performance over time. To meet this need, the Enterprise Summary displays historical performance of the resource by simply clicking the plot point. From this slide out, Stack Monitoring will show the performance over time, and for metrics with anomaly detection, we'll identify if the performance is outside the calculated baselines. Like any statistical method, the accuracy improves over time as more data is ingested. This is indicated by an orange dot. Now let's extend the time frame from the last 60 minutes to the last 7 days. Here we can see the memory utilization has been consistent over the last 7 days. Clicking the resource name at the top will navigate you to that resource's homepage for additional investigation. From the homepage, we can gain insight into the health and performance of a resource. For example, here, a host. The performance charts can help determine if something new is causing the increased memory utilization, or if the current performance has just simply persisted over time. Charts with a plus sign indicate that the metric includes anomaly detection. The overall utilization of CPU and memory do not appear to have any significant changes except for a few anomalous points. Let's take a look at the expected baseline for CPU. Selecting the dimensions in the chart legend will hide or show dimensions. When only a single dimension is displayed, Stack Monitoring will display the expected baseline range. And here we can see the CPU utilization briefly dropped outside of the expected baseline range. Reviewing the memory utilization, there does not appear to be a sudden change. As a result, it may make sense to adjust the size of the OCI compute instance and add additional memory. If the host is an OCI compute, Stack Monitoring provides a navigational link to the compute instance homepage. Clicking the Compute link opens a new tab to the OCI Compute Instance homepage. From this homepage, you can easily adjust the size of the compute instance to add additional memory. Before we take any action, let's identify what is running on the host by returning to the Stack Monitoring tab. To understand what is running on the host, from the Stack Monitoring homepage, click Topology. Topology informs us of what is running on the host and provides a navigational topology to those resources. Here we can see a PeopleSoft application that includes a WebLogic server, a container database, a pluggable database, are all running on this host. So it's no wonder this host is strapped for memory. Clicking the PeopleSoft's application name will navigate us to that application's homepage. Now let's take a look at the Stack view. The Stack view provides that overall big picture of the PeopleSoft application by enabling you to assess the overall health of an application and its underlying tech stack. Let's extend the time frame from the last 60 minutes to the last 7 days. Now let's take a closer look at the Stack view to understand if the host, high memory, and swap utilization is impacting the performance of the PeopleSoft application. Here we can see that the health and system load of the application server domain is okay, and the count of queued processes is 0. The overall health and system load of the process scheduler domain and the PIA are also okay. JVM memory utilization has remained consistent, and the web request rate has slowly increased over the last 7 days. The overall active thread pool threads has remained consistent, and there does not appear to be any hogging threads or work manager threads that are stuck. The Oracle database doesn't appear to be busy, and the wait times seem quite low. Once again, we can see the CPU utilization has been consistent, and the memory utilization is near 100%. Since this host runs an entire PeopleSoft application, making system changes during the day isn't feasible. We need to continue to monitor the web request rate closely to ensure that increased utilization does not cause performance problems until we can add additional memory during the overnight hours. To keep an eye on the web request rate, let's temporarily customize the enterprise summary. Let's convert the WebLogic scatter plot to a table to easily keep watch on our specific WebLogic server until we can add host memory. To edit the chart, we'll click the pencil icon in the top right of the WebLogic web request rate chart. This invokes a slide out where we can make our changes. We'll begin by expanding the chart menu. Now let's update the type from chart to table. And by default, the 4 highest web request rates are shown. Let's expand this to show us the top 10 and apply our changes. We can now easily keep watch of our PeopleSoft HCM WebLogic request rate. If we wish to keep this view, we can set this as our default view for the enterprise summary. The default view will keep the edits to the enterprise summary until the point in time we restore the defaults. When we return to the enterprise summary, clicking the value of, say, the ops per minute will again invoke the slide out to provide us that historical context if the rate is increasing.